I continue my journey into the black, and today we're gonna visit a planet named by explorers the Planet of Death. The D2 merch store is open. There are t-shirts, sweaters, hoodies, mugs and tote bags with many cool designs. Head down to the link in the video description and get yourself your merchandise today. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous Without Earth Astronomy. So I'm out here in the Colonia area, out exploring a little bit, and we're gonna visit quite a special planet today. And as always, I'm going to take you guys with me. I'm jumping into the system now for the very first time, and we're going to explore this system together and see what kind of interesting things and facts we can dig up in here. Boom, here we are, beautiful binary system, and we can already see the planet right there, sitting very, very close, within the range of the jet cones, actually, of a neutron star. I believe there's a neutron star. No, it's actually a white dwarf. My bad. So open up the FSS scanner and look at this. If we look, we can actually see the trajectory of the planet here already. And you can see how close, at least it looks like, it comes very close and then goes out in a very elliptical orbit here. So here you can see the orbital period, how it is 0.1 day. There's 14 geological sites on the planet as well. They might be interesting to go and pay a visit to. But 0.1 day, that's like a couple of hours. So that means if I stay here for, well, I'm not sure which array is going, depending on which side I'm on. I should be staying here no more than about an hour and a half, and this thing should be pretty close to its apoapse in there. I'm definitely gonna stick around here and wait for that to happen. Maybe we can get a time lapse going or something like that. That could be fun. Okay, trying to fly to the planet, and I managed to drop into the exclusion zone of the neutron star. So we have to pretty much, I guess, come in from the outside, like get the planet directly between us and the star, and then come in from that one. I thought I could cut across here. Okay, we're almost in position now. Just a little further. There we go. That should be pretty ideal. And if we can't get in like this, then it's actually inside the exclusion zone. I'm not sure if it is, but depending on how close we can get, I might just have to take this in sublight the rest of the way. Oh, look at that. That looks amazing. Little weird with the shadow on it. Obviously it detects the other star, which then should be down there. It detects that as a primary, so that's the only source of light, but that's just due to the way the thing... I guess it would make sense, because this side would be totally black, so maybe it makes sense actually that it looks like this, because we wouldn't see any of the light from the neutron star on this side of the planet. Okay, here we are, made it on to to the surface here. I think this is a pretty good spot. We have the main star high above us, and we have the neutron star just at the horizon. I'm not sure if we should have gotten that a little bit higher. It's way lower than I expected it would be down here. I might want to move over the horizon so we get that a little bit higher. I don't know yet. But anyway, I'll probably try to set up for a time lapse here, and then let this run for like a couple of... Okay, so here's what just happened. Like, first of all, sorry for the stuttering frame rate. This was recorded while I was doing the time lapse, hence the low frame rate when I played this back in real time. I was sitting there recording. It's been doing this time lapse for about 20 minutes or something that you just watched. And all of a sudden, I hear in the headphones, there's me being pulled in, warning messages, like I'm on oxygen, what the hell is going on? For the best that I could see, I got a little confused at first because the ship was sitting stable at like 30-something% heat, And at first I thought, well, what on earth is going on here? Because this ship shouldn't be overheating, just sitting there. But clearly it must have. If we look at the amount of damage done to my internals module, my life support is gone, my canopy's gone. I begin to check to see, do I have enough to synthesize oxygen to get back to safety? And I do. I take off and the ship just completely spins out of control. I have absolutely zero control over my thrusters, and the whole thing just crashes into the planet and explodes, and I'm back in Colonia. Not a big issue. I mean, it didn't have a lot, that much data anyway. It's just been to 2 targets so far, and haven't really been out for like data collection. But I think it's funny that the planet of death lives up to its name and claims another victim. So it's the second day. I spent my evening yesterday experimenting with this planet and found some rather interesting things about Lead in the process. Now, the reason why we crashed yesterday was because I was trying to take off while the planet was in the cone, and thus my ship was affected by the cone effect, and that was why the ship was destroyed. It wasn't because of overheating, and I crashed into the planet. Now, as expected, SRVs are not affected by this. So here you can see I'm in my SRV and I've been riding around on this planet just fine, moving through the cone. ESRV is unaffected by the cone effects. All I just have to make sure was, of course, that I had plenty of SRV repair and SRV refuels, mainly refuels, because we are spending some fuel just sitting here. So I had to keep care of that so I don't run out of power. If we move in here to the Ori map, I've just logged in today, so I'm not sure where the planet is. But as expected, it's out here in this part of the orbit. And it will pretty much always be when you jump in. Let me see if I can get this into a position where we can actually see what's going on here. Okay, so now you can kind of see the orbit of the planet. Look how close this thing goes. This is way within the exclusion zone of the planet. I've taken the right once, and I'm going to take that I'm gonna take that ride again here later today. It takes like about a few hours to go around. But as I said, when you come into the system, you will almost always find the planet out in this part of its orbit. And that is actually quite interesting, because when it comes to orbit speeds in elliptical orbits, as we have here right now, obviously the planet is moving a lot slower when it's out here. Also, fun thing note here, note how how accurate it is. When I select the planet and I see when I select the star, it goes a lot more, it's not as accurately drawn as when I select the planet itself. It's a quite neat little thing I also discovered. It's about twice, I think, as many points. Anyway, that's a side note. Now, the time it takes for a planet to move through an orbit in an elliptical orbit is actually based on the area between the orbit, the point it's orbiting around. So you can kind of imagine, if we take the scene here, you draw a triangle, let's say, between this little segment here into the star that is orbiting. Then the area of this triangle, if we could draw another area similar to it, it would take the same time to cover that piece of the orbit. So look, if we try to draw it's not going to be a triangle, but a shape when we're in close to the star that kind of has the same area, it will kind of have to look like this. I haven't really measured this. This is just me kind of eyeballing it. But as you can clearly see, if we want to draw a area that has the same size as the one we had before, well, we obviously have to cover a much bigger section of the orbit. And that means that the planet in an elliptical orbit will spend 99% of its time out furthest away from the star, and then it will accelerate up to insane velocities as it swoops by in close, and then it will be slingshot back out to its orbit out there. So if you are going here, first of all, and you're going to land on the planet, you need to make sure that, of course, you are outside the cone when you're landing, because then you can't land on the planet when it's inside the cone. And then dismiss your ship, stay in your SRV. But an interesting thing I found, because I figured I wanted to begin to calculate exactly when, so I didn't have to sit here and wait. But I think if I go in here, yeah, this H here, normally you can get the H of periapse. Now the periapse is the point in here, actually pretty close to the A, where it's closest to the star. And the H of the periapse means it is 100, it says right, it's 101 degrees off. And that's clearly not right. At least I've noticed this number doesn't really change. I think these numbers here are computed on jump in. So when you jump into the systems, these numbers are calculated. Logging out doesn't seem to affect it. So either this is not working, or this is only being computed on server ticks. I actually don't know. But this is definitely not being live updated, meaning I'm not really sure exactly where the planet is in the orbit. I could sit and I could take a screenshot and begin to do measurements and figure out how long it is into its orbit. But right now we are coming out of the orbit. I think we're going around this way. Given that this is about 0.1 day, which is quite inaccurate as well, because we only have, I mean, I don't know if this is 0.14 or this is 0.06 or 0.05, depending on which way it rounds up or down. I found the easiest way is simply just to like open up the Aurora map here from time to time and look at where the planet is in its orbit, and then I know when I'm getting up around here, it's only gonna be like 20 minutes before we're down here, because falling about this section here only takes, I don't know, 45 minutes maybe, and then this section out here takes maybe an hour and a half, the small section here, because in here it's moving extremely close. I did manage to get some more time lapse of the planet here falling down towards the star, so I just wanted to share that with you as well. I'm probably going to take a few more trips on this planet as it descends down towards the star. I think this is pretty much the closest thing you can ever get to a star is by riding this planet down. It is really close. It looks insane, as you can see from the clips here. One final thing before we end, I would really like if you would go down to the description and you would take a look at the merch store, which is linked for down there. Lots of cool stuff over there, lots of cool designs. Go check it out, and well, you can support the channel if you find something you like. Thanks a lot for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this one. And until next time, I'll see you guys in space.